All right, guys, I have one of my current favorite topics, just personal interest in how to improve my skin health as I age, because I'm on this mission to not get wrinkles and look good, how I can reverse the aging process. And Expo West this past year, it's been a while. I met with Biosil and started using the product and wanted to understand, I always want to know the why, research behind it and understand, does this work? How does it work? Who should use it, when, why, and all that. So I got the experts on the show, Richard and Jodi. Thank you for joining me to share skin fitness.
Well, thank you for having us. It's a real honor and privilege to be here, and I hope we can contribute some interesting stuff, and people can have fun along the way because I know they always have fun listening to you. But I guess a little bit to start. Collagen is sort of the glue that holds our bodies together. It's the go-to material to make when the body needs to make something that's both strong and flexible, and it forms the framework of all connective tissue throughout the body. And when you take a look at the gross weight of the human body, it's about 5 to 7% collagen, which is quite impressive because if somebody's properly hydrated, for the sake of the conversation, we can say they'll be 65% water. So they're only 35% solid mass. And somewhere between about 15 to 20% of that solid mass is collagen. It's really a sizable portion of our the frame, if you want to say, if I can call it that way. But this collagen is constantly being broken down and needs to be rebuilt to repair and replenish and rejuvenate the body. And modern collagen experts are estimating that about every 5 days, the typical person needs to make 1 pound of collagen to repair itself. So this is an ongoing process that occurs through life that's taking a good number of the body's resources to produce this collagen to keep repairing the collagen-based tissues and keep us rejuvenated. So it's to me it's a fascinating part of human physiology, and it's complicated and it's not completely understood. So it's a fascinating area to do research because we learn something new almost every day. And at the end of the month, we say, hey, we did some stuff that contributed to the knowledge bank.
Wow.
So it's a lot of fun to work with.
Now, Richard, how did you get into focusing on collagen? Talk a short little bit about what your focus is on collagen and what you focus on studying.
I initially did work with cardiovascular health. It was of interest to me because my grandfather died at a very, very young age of heart disease. And before he died, he was sick from it for many years. And both my father and I took a key interest in cardiovascular disease because we didn't want to die young like my grandfather did. And in the role, I worked a lot with antioxidants, redox recycling, trying to manage blood sugar control. And at the end of the day, I started to believe, like the Linus Pauling, Matthias Raff, lipoprotein A theory of plaque formation. That the blood vessels are collagen-based tissues. They're about 40% collagen, maybe 35% elastin, and this collagen and elastin is constantly being broken down. And if the body can make new collagen and elastin, it repairs the vessel quite well. But when it can't, it needs to switch to plan B, which back when I was working with it, we thought it was lipoprotein A, trying to fix the repair the vessel, sort of like duct tape. If you can't fix it the right way, you put the duct tape on it until you can fix it the right way. So often when the body builds plaque, it's trying to protect itself. It's not trying to kill itself. So the plaque isn't what the problem was. The problem I felt was that there wasn't enough collagen and elastin being generated. So that's how I sort of stumbled into it. And then we had an opportunity to come work with Biominerals. I've been there since 2004, and I think Jodi's been there, what, 5 years now, 6 years, something like that?
4 years.
4 years, okay. We initially purchased the technology from University of Antwerp to make a product to support bone health. But early in the studying it with the different preclinical trials and case studies, oftentimes we would look at skin because the skin has the same type of collagen as bones and tendons and ligaments, but the skin remodels faster. So you can the skin's kind of like a advanced window of what's happening in the bone. So we got looking at that, and a guy one time said, well, shoot, if it's helping people's skin remodel, that's going to be of more interest to more people than bone health is. So the product sort of took a life of its own. And now I think 80% of the people that purchase Biosil, 70 or 80% probably buy it for a hair, skin, nail application. But my interest in collagen started in cardiovascular health, and the company's interest started in bone health. But we just, it's a science-based company, and they sort of ride the wave where the science takes them. And it's been a fun ride.
Yeah, interesting rabbit hole as I was go down, just like, how does that work? And that just leads me down all sorts of different rabbit holes. I say, it seems to be similar to you, that you studied cardiovascular health, but it got you down the role of collagen in there, and thinking outside the box that most people don't that those pieces of the puzzle together. So that's interesting. And
the common thread in this one is that the collagen forms the framework of all connective tissue. Sometimes when I talk about too many tissues at once, people get that skeptical, what's he going to talk about, Uncle Ben's Wonder Tonic? How something that helps a tendon going to have anything to do with the skin? And now he mentions blood vessels. This is crazy, but they all have that collagen framework. If the tissue has to expand and contract, the body generally puts elastin in the framework as well. So when you have blood vessels, you have nearly a 1-to-1 ratio. It's a little bit more collagen than elastin. And the lung has a lot of elastin in it. I think it's around 30%. And if you average it out, some of the places are more and some are less, generally between 20 to 40%. The skin's about 3 to 5% elastin, where it sort of serves as a role as like spandex in modern clothing. If you take a look at one of those old school, like Levi 501 jeans, it's 100% cotton. It's thick and strong, but it wrinkles real easy and it doesn't fit somebody's skin too tight. But if you put 2 or 3% spandex in there, it gives it elasticity. It keeps it smooth. The cotton's still giving the strength and the thickness, but the elastin, helps it keep its form more and stretch, and it doesn't wrinkle usually when you sit down. And the elastin and skin serves that same role.
And that's what I can imagine as my face. I don't want it to wrinkle. It's like you need that elastin collagen to avoid that.
I was once doing a talk. She's an obstetrician out of Montana, Dr. Julie Reel, and she does a lot of different types of procedures in her office for skin that her patients request. So she bought a laser, and she does some micro needling, radio frequency type skin rejuvenation therapies. And she had a line, "You want tight fitting skin, not tight fitting jeans." So I thought it was kind of a cool slogan. And in a way, it's what the new modern theory of wrinkle formation really is suggesting. It's an elastin breakdown that leads to wrinkling. Used to be, up to like 5 years ago, everybody said it was the collagen was breaking down, and that the collagen fibers started to go more one direction, and then they would break down, and the gaps would form between them, and then that's when the micro relief would deepen and become more noticeable. But now the theory is that the elastin is breaking down, and it allows the collagen network to spread. And when it spreads, the gaps become greater very quickly, and then the wrinkles start to form in the areas, in the gaps between the collagen fibers. The collagen fibers are very, very strong. They're stronger than steel if you try to pull on them, the tensile strength of them. But they don't stretch. Where elastin's kind of the opposite. It stretches real easy, and then it pulls back with authority. So if you have a lot of elastin in tissue, it keeps the skin tight. And then other tissues such as bone doesn't stretch. Teeth don't stretch, and they don't have any elastin. So the more the tissue stretches, the more elastin it has to have.
All right, Jodi, we're not going to leave you alone down there. Your skin is glowing and you got this cute smile on. So tell us about how you got connected into working with Biosil and working with minerals and skin health.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually started in the retail space. I started working at Sprouts Farmers Market in the vitamin department. So it was my job to order the products, explain the different products to customers that would come in, and do my best to recommend products based on their specific health and dietary needs. So if you've ever been into a Sprouts Farmers Market or just any health food store in general, you know that there are so many products on those shelves. It's very difficult and overwhelming for a customer to go in and just see everything, right? So it was really my job to help people decide which product to take. Now, in order to educate the health food store employees, what brands and different companies will do is offer trainings. So this could be the form of a webinar, a podcast like right now. And before COVID, it was really popular to host dinner trainings. So at the time, I was getting my degree as a broke college student. So I went to as much these dinner trainings as possible, purely for the free food, but also for the education, right? So I went to so many of these trainings, and I really valued learning about different supplements, the different minerals, whether to ferment or not to ferment, collagen versus, peptides, etc. And I got to see how these different companies operated. Now, I went to 2 lectures from Biosil hosted by Richard Passwater here, and they just stood out from the rest of the presentations, because a lot of brands, they focus about who they are as a company, which is great. Being B certified, using organic, non-GMO ingredients is very important and valuable to customers. However, what differentiated Biosil and Richard's presentation is that he really focused on the science behind the product, pointing out the clinical research done on the product. Over $25 million at the time invested in research and development, proving the efficacy of this product. Now, when I heard that, I was like, whoa, that's different. That separates this product from all the other products on the shelf. So I went up to Richard because I was about to start my degree at UCSD in biology. I asked him, hey, what research should I do? What classes should I take? Because I would love eventually to do what you're doing. And we got to talking, and gratefully, I'm super, super thankful for this. Richard actually gave me an opportunity to apply for this company. So that's how I got working with Biosil. And it's really honestly, my dream company to work for because of the science behind it. And every time that I recommended it to a customer at the store, they would say, wow, this product really works. People would come back again and again and again for it, showing me how much their nails are growing, how great their skin is, because it's a product that customers really trust and love. So that's how I got into this space. And I'm very grateful. I now have my biology degree from UCSD, and I get to go around the US talking about collagen, keratin, and elastin, and how it can benefit you and your skin wellness journey.
Nice. Well, I know I'm in San Diego, North San Diego. So you've got a good school with a good view that you went to, right? Right by La Jolla.
Yes,
I
exactly.
think when I drive by the road or I run over there, I'm like, that's a good place to go to college. And the dorms have a view of the ocean. You don't get that anywhere but probably Pepperdine and Santa Barbara.
Exactly.
So I want to kind of go into definitions. I like to, again, explain and understand for myself and listener, the why. So what is elastin, collagen, keratin, and peptides? Anyone want to kind of take over, share, define what that is and for the listener?
Richard, go for it.
Well,
What is
collagen's
elastin?
Well, it's easy. Let's just collagen's a strong, flexible, fibrous protein, um, and it forms the framework of connective tissue in the body. It usually forms a dense, multi-directional network of different fibers going every which way. Some tissues, such as tendons, the fibers go more one way than the other ways, and tissue as it ages, it also becomes less multi-directional and more one-directional. So if you picture like picture a bone and picture like say a tendon and picture your gum and picture your skin, the framework of these tissues is the same. It's just what gets put into the framework that makes them different. In the bone, the body's putting crystals of calcium phosphate and other different minerals mixed in, some magnesium, boron, and other minerals that help the body maintain the bone. And they deposit it into the collagen matrix, and you end up with a harder, more rigid structure. People used to say that the strength of the bone came from the calcium, but now the thinking is that the strength of the bone, 80% of it comes from the collagen, the flexibility of the collagen. That's where the strength is. The minerals more give it the rigidity it needs to protect the organs, and so the muscle can pull against it to facilitate movement. So you have this very stiff, hard, structure with form. And then take like a look at a tendon, which they generally go about 80 to 90% collagen. Their job is to hold or connect a muscle to the bone. And it doesn't need the rigidity, so the body doesn't put the calcium crystals in there. But it needs it needs to be very strong. It needs to recover quickly. It needs to have some flexibility. So the body adds some elastin fibers and some other similar connective tissue fibers, a little bit of hyaluronic acid, and these glycosaminoglycan and proteoglycan type structures to it to give it the properties it needs. Then you come to the skin. The skin's about 75% collagen, a little bit less than the tendon. And the body puts more elastin because the skin needs to be more flexible. And again, puts the dermin sulfate that connects the hyaluronic acid to the skin to hold the moisture in. And then you have the gum as an example, and I think it's around 60% collagen, a little bit less than the skin. And it needs to be more moist and needs to turn over and repair itself faster. So the body deposits into that structure, a little bit different of assortment of the hyaluronic acid and the dermin sulfate and different proteoglycans. So the tissues are in a way more similar than they are different because they have the same framework. It's just what gets deposited into them. And then there's a third protein that's similar called keratin. And keratin's usually on the outside of the tissues that contain it, such as the skin. The keratin and ceramides form the layer in the epidermis, the outside layer, to keep moisture in and pathogens and things out. And also the appendages of the skin, such as nails and hair, are keratin-based tissues too. So there are three fibrous proteins that are constantly being made throughout somebody's life, they really form the framework of all the connective tissue.
And the body is pretty amazing that people forget that it's not just one thing. It's the body works all together as an orchestra, and in all areas, whatever we're talking about, it's always there's many players in there, and when is off, everything gets off tuned as an orchestra. So it just shows even with our collagen, our makeup of our body, tissue wise, and joints are even a whole orchestra. Everything needs to be working. So Jodi, would you add anything talking about, just as you talk to customers, brand manager of elastin, collagen, keratin, that people often ask you as they're trying to figure out I have all these lotions on the counter here. I can choose. I have all these powders I can put in my coffee. Why would external sources not help if I take keratin for my hair and collagen powder in my coffee and all this stuff? Let's talk about whatever we're missing here. And then I want to get into internal versus external.
Absolutely. So I want to highlight something that Richard said earlier, because I think it's really important. And that's that people are approximately 5 to 7% collagen by weight. It's a lot of collagen. And your body, in order to maintain all the tissues that Richard just listed, your body has to make at least 1 pound of collagen every 5 days. That's a lot that your body has to make. So when you talk about things to put on your hair or collagen peptides, there's really one main goal, and that's to increase the amount of collagen in your body. Now, there are many ways on the market that suggest they're able to do this, whether it be a topical that you mentioned, whether it be an internal, and there's so much back and forth research out there saying this way's better or this way's better, but they all just have one common goal, and that's to increase the amount of collagen that you have in your body, because it is the most abundant and arguably the most important protein in your body. So when people ask me, should I even care about collagen? Does it matter? Absolutely, yes. The question is, how are you going to help your body increase the amount of collagen in it? And that really is the big discussion. That's why we're here. And we have a great product that's clinically proven to help you increase your collagen. It's clinically proven to help you generate and protect your collagen, keratin, and elastin, these 3 key important proteins that Richard's discussing.
Yeah, and that it's so hard for people probably to understand at first that, okay, if I put it in my hair, we have say often that your skin is a mouth, you absorb it. If I put keratin shampoo in my hair, if I put collagen lotion and all the hydrochloric acid and all the stuff, peptides I can get on my skin, and then joint health and taking I know a lot of people, especially Vital Proteins, which I don't know if it's even the same quality because now that someone else bought it, it's at Costco. You always kind of wonder, okay, how even good quality is this? But Vital Proteins, collagen powder, I know everybody seems to take. So how do you just mentioned a lot of great tips, but how do you get people to understand it's external versus internal production? Putting it on topically doesn't get absorbed as the same as internal.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the collagen creams that you can find on the market, they're too big to be absorbed. Richard, as he discussed, collagen is a very complex protein. It's very big fiber. It's hard for such a big molecule to be absorbed properly into the skin. Now, what some companies have started to do is, instead of just a plain collagen protein, they started to break it up into the different collagen peptides, or the building blocks of that collagen protein. And Richard, I'm going to pass it off to you, because I know we were just at a conference where they were discussing different creams like this.
So as Jodi mentioned, the peptides are basically a fragment of a larger protein structure, and there's some creams where people really make the peptides quite small, and perhaps that they can be absorbed, but those peptides don't actually get deposited into the collagen in the skin. You can't take collagen from a beef hide, micronize it, put it on the skin, and convert it into human skin collagen. It just doesn't work that way. The body has to make the collagen from scratch. And it first makes a protein called procollagen. It's a single chain of amino acids that the body puts together in a specific sequence. And then it has to enzymatically convert that single chain into a 3-chain triple helix, which is where the strength of the collagen comes from. And then it has to link those triple helix structures together to form a thin thread, a fibril, and then a thicker fiber. So the procollagen, the first chain that is made, the thing to keep in mind is that generally only between 10 to 30% of that first chain gets matured into functional collagen, generally because the enzymes that are required to process it during the maturation process lack the cofactors they need to function properly. So the best thing that can happen with a topical collagen cream is that somebody has very small peptides. It gets put into onto the skin where they do nothing. But then the body has enzymes that tear down old damaged collagen. It's called the procollagen recycling system. So if we were to go out into the sun and get burnt, not that Jodi knows a guy who went to a Padres game and got burnt, but the body doesn't want burnt, damaged collagen, UV damage. So it makes MMP proteins to tear down the old damaged collagen. It takes the amino acids out of that damaged collagen and uses those to make new collagen. So the best that can happen on a topically applied cream is that those peptides get caught up in this collagen recycling system and get made into amino acids that could be used to form procollagen. But you still have to get from the procollagen to the functional collagen. So it's a really roundabout way to get there. I don't think that putting regular collagen on the skin really serves any purpose, but putting collagen peptides on the skin can provide certain areas of the skin specific amino acids that could be useful in building new collagen, but it doesn't guarantee new collagen generation in that area. Sorry for the long roundabout answer. If it didn't help, I can reword it a different way.
No, that's good. One thing I think about is you're saying amino acids and just how the building blocks aminos, and I think that's a confusing area. I'm sure people have this question come to mind and go, well, can't I just take essential amino acids? And then there's people that focus on more of a carnivore-based diet or meat-based diet that think if I have organ meat, I'm eating meat. Most every, strict carnivore, that's all they're doing is organ meat and meat-based, if that's enough. So do they need something as this if they're getting their essential amino acids in from food?
I think in those instances, there's no need to take collagen. If somebody's eating enough protein and a diverse enough protein in the diet, that there's no need to take a collagen supplement because the amino acids either are in the diet or can be made from the amino acids that are in the diet. And generally, those carnivore-based diets have enough glycine, enough proline, and enough lysine, which are often the limiting factors in making collagen. When you start getting into the more restrictive diets or the more plant-based diets, it becomes more challenging. It's very possible, but people have to start paying more attention to what they're eating. Where am I getting my glycine? Where am I getting my lysine from? I think the World Health Organization recommends 2.5 grams of lysine a day. But when you talk to people that in collagen generation research, they want to see more like 5 grams a day. And yes, the body makes glycine, but the body can probably make 3 to 5, maybe a little bit more grams of glycine a day. But my favorite group of collagen researchers now are estimating the average person needs at least 12 grams of glycine a day to properly repair the collagen. So it starts to become a little bit more challenging with eating like more selective amino acid sources or proteins that have a less diverse amino acid makeup. But it's doable. You just have to spend a little more time and effort tracking them. But generally, in my opinion, sticking with on the carnivore side of it, the amino acids are taken care of them, take care of themselves, and you don't have anything to worry about them.
if they have proper digestion and breaking down their
Yep.
food, which most people don't that I work with. Do when I do lab tests,
that's a very good point. I stand corrected. I need to rephrase what but
no, you said
generally
it, but
those you're very correct. Biosil, our product, does help the body make some glycine, and it does help the body make quite a bit of proline. So it helps the body make the two most abundant amino acids in collagen. So I always find that it's a secondary way the product works, but I find it a nice insurance policy.
yeah, we always need that. Now, Jodi, why don't you explain what Biosil is and how it helps improve internal production?
Absolutely. So at the end of the day, Biosil is a dietary supplement that is clinically proven to help you generate and protect your collagen, keratin, and elastin. We now have over $30 million invested in clinical research proving the efficacy of this product for hair, skin, nails, bones, joints, and even teeth and gums, because these are all reliant on collagen, keratin, and elastin. Now, to explain what Biosil actually does for your body, I want to continue the conversation about essential amino acids for collagen. So amino acids are required to make any protein in your body. Specifically, as Richard discussed, lysine, proline, and glycine are the main 3 amino acids that make up collagen. Now, if you have an excellent diet where you're getting all these amino acids, that's fantastic. But you don't just go directly from amino acid to a collagen protein. There are a series of enzymes that have to be activated in order for you to get from an amino acid to a finished collagen protein. And as Richard said earlier, only about 10 to 30% of the collagen, the pro-collagen that initially goes down that segue, gets made into a finished collagen protein. So that's not a lot. And you're not really efficiently using your amino acids to get to a finished collagen protein. That's where Biosil comes in. So Biosil makes 2 of the most abundant amino acids in collagen, and it helps to activate each one of these enzymes in the collagen synthesis pathway. So it is helping your body in its natural way to make more collagen, keratin, and elastin. At the same time, it's also protecting these existing proteins and the newly formed collagen. So it has a 2-in-1 effect where it's helping you to make more collagen, keratin, and elastin, and it's protecting those proteins from degradation.
Richard, anything to add there?
Well, as Jodi mentioned, Biosil both generates and protects collagen. And I like to explain that collagen is somebody's collagen stores in their body. The collagen metabolism is a lot like a bank account. Every day you start with a certain amount and you're going to lose some. Hopefully you're going to grow some, and you're going to end the day with a different amount. And it's really a part of human physiology that lifestyle choices and diet and exercise make a difference. You can really take positive steps to improve the collagen metabolism in the body by helping the body make more and helping to protect the collagen you have. Some of the things that tear down or destroy the collagen, homocysteine, which is a byproduct of methionine metabolism. The body's designed to return or to recycle the homocysteine back into methionine or to convert it to another amino acid, cysteine. That's quite important. But you need B vitamins to do that. And as we get older, we have more stresses. We need more B vitamins. We have absorption issues and conversion issues. And we often, between the increased need and the decreased absorption, we find ourselves with insufficient amounts of these methyl-doning B vitamins, choline, folic acid, B6, B12, and the homocysteine levels increase. and they cause increased rates of hip fracture, cardiovascular. Most people associate it with stroke, but it destroys collagen all throughout the body. Another thing is stress. I used to rank it number 2, but the last couple of years, maybe it's number 1. But cortisol is chemically corrosive to the collagen structures in the body, destroys what you have, and it also suppresses the body's ability to make new collagen by interfering with lysyl oxidase enzyme that's involved in making it. So stress is really a double-edged sword where you know it destroys both sides of the collagen metabolism equation. Then you have our friends, the free radicals, or the reactive oxygen and nitrogen species, or whatever we're calling them these days, that you go out into the sunlight, the UV damages it, different types of environmental pollutants, different free radicals that are formed. As we get older, our mitochondria doesn't perform as efficiently. Some of the products leak out of the mitochondria and end up damaging the tissues. Then you have sugar is a highly destructive to collagen throughout the body. There's a reaction between sugar and a protein called glycation, and it likes the sugar likes to react with lysine. There's a lot of lysine in collagen, so collagen is very susceptible to glycation damage, and it's why, in my opinion, when you look at a diabetic, they often look 15% older than they are. And it's what leads to a lot of the circulation and nerve problems. That high sugar level has glycation reactions with the connective tissue, in the blood vessels and around the nerves. It can damage collagen throughout the body. And then there's a secondary set of reactions that are even more dangerous. They call them advanced glycation end products, and they'll use an acronym called AGE, which is exactly what they do. The only better acronym I've seen is for the standard American diet. They abbreviate SAD, S-A-D. But those two are some of the best acronyms I've seen. But those advanced glycation end products also are introduced into somebody's body directly sometimes when they char meat. When you overcook burn things, they'll have a lot of these advanced glycation end products. Or if you live next to a power plant or somewhere where there's a lot of combustible material in the air, you might be getting more advanced glycation end product intake than you're recognizing. Then wear and tear, injury, there's medication side effects. One of the biggest destroyers of collagen in the body are corticosteroid drugs, including the cortisol they inject into joints sometimes to try to fix joint injuries. Yes, it knocks down the inflammation. Yes, somebody can feel well, but it destroys the collagen and elastin in the joint as well. They generally won't inject the same joint more than twice for that reason. But if you can avoid it, I would only use an injection like that as a last resort, because the medication does damage the collagen structure.
So hold on there. That's huge. People get those shots all the time, and I have a client my client just is getting a shot in her knee. So that's why they only do cortisone shot twice a year, because it's breaking down your elastin. Or the collagen.
But both the collagen and the elastin, yeah. They have to be careful. It's a trade-off. You have some sort of dysregulation of inflammation, and they feel that it's like a firestorm of cytokine activity, and there's a problem, and the cortisol is very good at knocking down the inflammation. So it has to be a skilled medical professional that makes a decision. Is the trade-off an acceptable one for the person? Are they going to be better accelerating some collagen loss, or are they better to try to deal with the inflammation another way? And it's a decision I think each person has to make with their licensed medical practitioner. There's times when it's the most prudent thing to do, and there's other times where, in my opinion, that together with $6 gets a cup of coffee at Starbucks, it isn't probably the best thing to do the first time out.
Yeah, interesting. That's another subject, 'cause my mom has bad knee and was avoiding knee replacement, and they give her a shot 2, 3 times a year. And she's 82, 83 years old now, that you think, okay, at that age, should you be giving a shot or is it making it worse? So it's, you have to look at kind of what's beneficial, pros and cons of everything.
That's the thing. It's a very highly individualized, challenging decision. Fortunately, there's better and better imaging equipment around, and you can take a look at the condition of the joint, which can help, make such decisions.
All right. So Jodi, you're probably a good one to answer this. So if we have athletes, we're aging athletes, over 40s, over 50s. I know Richard mentioned stress and oxidative stress, chronic stress. And then the athlete, typically our listener, is the other side of the bell curve. I say the Goldilocks effect. Beneficial exercise up here, too little, too much. We're usually over this side. So you have another source of stress of someone that's doing too much of everything, chronic stress of daily life, busyness, overfilling that beaker of stress. And then we have oxidative stress that we have from the exercise and less ability to respond to it. I was learning as we get older. So Jodi, you can start with how this can help Biosil. Is it helpful for an athlete who is trying to improve aging, but also still wants performance gains as they get older?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So I want to start with just a kind of scary fact. So once you hit 21 years old, you start to lose about 1% of collagen per year. So when you're talking about athletes, especially that go through daily wear and tear of their joints, etc., that can cause some stress to your collagen. But also, if we're talking about the 40-year-old age range, that's pretty past 21. So you've already started to lose your collagen, keratin, and elastin, unfortunately. So Biosil does a great job at any age to help activate those enzymes, so you'll be making more of your collagen, keratin, and elastin again. I actually started taking Biosil as an athlete when I was 20 years old because I had a meniscus tear and I had surgery. I went to physical therapy and nothing was really helping to take that edge off. I still had a lot of discomfort. I started to take Biosil, and after about 2 months, the discomfort in my joints diminished immensely. So I recommend this to every athlete that I come across, not necessarily when they're just in an injury state, but to help protect their existing collagen in that joint while they need it, which is essential. Richard's going to talk about a really great study that we did for joints specifically, and this was a gold standard clinical trial. What this means is that it is double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled, and it's published in top medical journal. So it's recognized research around the world, which separates our research as a company. So Richard, I'll have you take it away. Biosil for joints.
Well, Jodi's referring to a study that was done on the data on men with moderate to moderately severe knee discomfort. And they were given Biosil for 12 weeks or a placebo for 12 weeks. And they were assessed with a WOMAC questionnaire, which is an acronym for like Western Ontario and McMaster's arthritis. I forget what the last one is, curriculum or something. And it's sort of a very common, well-accepted tool to gauge how somebody's knee pain is impacting their life. It's been validated now for hips too. It's sort of the gold standard assessment tool if you want a nice publication. But there's 5 questions for pain, and Biosil reduced the pain in the participants by 48% over the 12 weeks. It was about 27% better than the placebo group. And there's 3 questions about range of motion or stiffness, and Biosil also improved those parameters 48%. It was 35% better than the placebo. And they had 17 daily tasks that were monitored. These weren't things that guys are going to brag about at the bar or at the gym, trying to impress other people. But they were more down the alley of putting on socks in the morning, going upstairs, getting out of a car, getting out of a bathtub, things of that nature, going shopping. And Biosil reduced the difficulty doing these tasks by 41%. It was about 26 or 27% better than the placebo group. So that was that study focused more on cartilage. In the participants were in their averaged in their early 50s. And there were two markers of cartilage degradation that were looked at, and both showed that Biosil was in protecting the cartilage. Less of it was dying, less of it was fragmenting off, and it took them from elevated levels and put them, in my opinion, very much in a normal like range. So it was quite an interesting study. We did the study because we get a lot of testimonial from different people using the product. One of the more interesting testimonials was from CBS News. They did a feature on Drew Brees, who Jodi's brother actually lifts weights at the same gym with, in San Diego.
Fitness Quest 10 with Todd.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That's
Yes.
That's funny. That's my mentor I had for years, as a gym owner. So I know he works out with
Oh,
Todd.
he's great. Todd's great.
Yeah, he's amazing. Sorry, side note.
Oh no! So it's very interesting. It's cool. And he was featured on CBS News, and they interviewed a sports medicine a professor from Tulane, and they interviewed a team doctor, and somehow it was during the course they were talking about vitamin C and Biosil. I guess he had a shoulder injury early in his career, and they thought he might be out for the season. He came back 2 weeks later, and they were talking about how he takes a very a proactive role in tissue rejuvenation after and rest after working out. He really balances. So I thought it was cool that they were working with him on probably the two most fundamental nutrients in making collagen: orthosilicic acid and vitamin C. So I thought that made me happy to see. But we kept getting testimonials from people who were often taking Biosil for other things, and they noticed joint improvement. So we said, let's start to fund some joint studies, and also we had some different opinion leaders over the years, like Sherry Rogers mentioned it in her book about joint health. I'm not allowed to say it because of the title makes a disease claim. But it's her big book about joint health. So it's a more recent area of research. Keep an ear to the ground. More will be coming.
Good. Well, I know we're just about up on time soon, just last 5 minutes or so. I wanted to talk about delivery system and mechanism of action. As I always talk about, you can't, as I said, out supplement poor nutrition habits and count out exercise, poor diet, but also saying that delivery of supplements, that so many supplements we don't actually break down and absorb in our body into our gut wall lining. And ideally, of an IV or injection or transdermal, but what's different about the delivery of Biosil to, do I need to take it how it absorbs in the body versus, I always say it's better to have another delivery than a capsule. So how does this work?
Well, Biosil, in a way, I like to describe it as pre-digested. When the body eats silicon-rich foods like fiber, collagenous tissues, sometimes if you're on a carnivore diet, as an example, bananas, rice hulls are high in them. Green beans, surprisingly, have a lot. It's in the fiber. The body tries to digest those silicon-containing structures. Sometimes they're big polymers like silicates, and other times it's complicated protein structures where the small silicic acid clusters are built into the protein or the cellulose structure in them. But the body tries to use stomach acid and any other way possible, mechanical torsion, and to convert that to orthosilicic acid, which is a single silicic acid molecule. So our product's already there. It doesn't need digested. Where if somebody takes, or doesn't need broken down anymore and converted into a form that's absorbed, where if it's found in nature and mineral water in the orthosilicic acid form. And then our product, it's the orthosilicic acid is coupled with free choline. So the body tries to make choline. There's an enzyme in the body, PEMT, P-E-M-T. It's phosphatidylethylamine methyltransferase. Tries to make choline, so it's two nutrients the body's trying to make, and they're very well absorbed. I can't give you the percentage, and it's going to vary some in different individuals. We focus more on the clinical outcomes. We know that if people take 2 capsules a day, the studies come out well. So we focus more on how much of the dose is required to yield good effects. We believe if you take 1 in the capsule in the morning, or we also have a liquid product, you can take 5 drops in the morning and 1 a dose in the evening. It'll keep the levels more consistent throughout the day. And we
So
believe
1 in the
that's
morning, 1 at night.
1 at night, if you can. I'm convinced 40% of the people I talk to aren't capable of taking supplements more than once a day. It's not practical for them. In those instances, they can take the 2 capsules together. But if they can take them apart. But there's an old rule in nutritional biochemistry that 100% of what you don't take isn't absorbed. Sometimes people make the suggested dosing plans so complicated, the people miss half the doses, and they think they're doing the right thing, and at the end of the day, they're just not supplementing very well.
I know when I do protocols for people based on their functional lab test assessment as FDN practitioner, more investigator, and put a protocol. And when you do any type of gut parasite or some type of protocol gets complicated, most people don't follow it. So it's when you have to take it before or after your meal, the evening time, it's just I just need to simplify it and take them all at once or something.
That's something. When you get into the
habit stacking, I was going to say.
That's a nice term. I find when I say, take the red ones and then the blue ones and wait an hour and drink, people start to picture a monkey clapping cymbals in their head, and they don't really listen anymore. But Biosil is easy. You can take it with or without food. You can take it with other supplements. It's very easily absorbed. There's no benefit, we believe, to try to do it sublingually. It seems to be absorbed in the very early area of the duodenum. It seems to be something that the oral absorption on it is it's quite good. But I completely understand and agree with what you're saying, and that in general there's a across the nutrient spectrum, it can be quite challenging in some people to get the absorption. What goes in and what goes farther in aren't always the same, and sometimes there's quite a bit of a discrepancy. But with our product, fortunately, there's generally not a large non-responder rate. People who have iron metabolism issues, people that don't eat enough protein, and people that have thyroid problems often take longer to respond. But instead of seeing results in 1 month in their nails, 2 months in their hair, 3 months.
Why is that though? Is it they need cofactors that they're not getting from their protein? Because if they're low iron, then it's, to me, looking, okay, let's work backwards. If they're not getting enough protein in animal-based food, not protein, but animal-based food, and they're not properly digesting it, and their stomach organ needs more digestive enzyme, hydrochloric acid. If they're low or they have H. pylori, they're not getting enough zinc and iron and B12. So is that correlated to they're not getting enough cofactors to make it work?
Yes, the iron's required for at least two of the enzymes that are involved in like maturing collagen. And without iron, it impairs, with low iron levels will impair the collagen production process. Generally, a ferritin, I think, is the best way to measure iron for connective tissue health. And I think a level of 30 or above is a good level for making collagen, elastin, and keratin. Sometimes dermatologists,
sorry, I'm interrupting. So keep going.
Sometimes dermatologists take the levels much higher, but when I mention big numbers, the cardiologists and stuff start to get wound up. So I think 30 is a nice level that if somebody's below, they're likely going to have connective tissue troubles, and they can talk with their healthcare provider about what level's right for them. It can often be, double or more than double that. But often when somebody, I mean, I run into people that sometimes if they're not happy with the results, I have them get their ferritin levels tested, and the results 3 and 5 and things like that.
I'm gonna pull up my sheet. I have my notes. We say 50 to 100 in functional range for ferritin.
I think that's a good range.
In
I wouldn't
FDN
go
ranges?
over 100. Yeah, I wouldn't go over 100, but I think 50 is ideal. Like if oftentimes dermatologists will try to take it between 50 and 75 if somebody's been low.
Well, I was just going to say, again, go back to the orchestra. So I do functional lab test assessment, supplement audits, and you just said a really big point. If you have low ferritin or iron, low thyroid, and what was the other thing you said low in?
Low protein. You need
Low
the
protein.
amino acids, from the protein. I mean, we do talk a lot about bone health, and sometimes when you get into elderly crowds, a hearty lunch for them is tea and toast. And they have an egg for breakfast, and they think they're set for the day. And it's it's a quality protein, but one doesn't have enough to really nourish a 150-pound frame or something. So it sometimes the protein intake is suboptimal, and if you don't have the building blocks, Biosil can help, but you still need adequate protein intake to make adequate connective tissue, and people that aren't getting it takes them longer to see the results.
Again, it's eating a nutrient-dense diet, getting your animal fats, animal protein, digesting your food properly, making sure you have enough ferritin's not too low, your choline you mentioned, and thyroid. I mean, everyone I do lab test assessments, low iron, low amino acids, low choline, PEMF. I do genetic testing, me included, the PEMF one with low choline, so I have to supplement. I mean, it's really all this needs to be addressed, as well as taking the Biosil, because you can't, again, out supplement poor diet, and you have to really work on all this together, that you can't just think I'm going to take this to fix that. We have to work on the whole person from the inside out.
You're really doing people a great service, by testing them the way that you do with these cutting edge technologies, and helping them, bridge the gaps for their unique needs, and together with their diet. You can coach people to change their diet and watch how they do. Often it's easier said than done, and then try to see where they're making changes and where they aren't, and fill the rest. Bridge the gap with the supplements. But with the Biosil, we have the choline covered there. Biosil helps protect against cortisol and against homocysteine because of the choline in the product. It's a big way on how it works. It's great that you're testing for it. You're really on the cutting edge with those functional medicine testings that you're doing, and to me it's a huge service you're doing.
Well, again, same thing as you're talking about. It's listening, but actually following through. If people would all realize, because I talk about this all the time, but I will admit it's really hard to get people to understand I need to invest in my health. My health is my wealth, and do something about it now, and not wait till you have all these joint problems and skin problems. I am on a mission to help people understand, do it now recreate your current self. So you're living your best life as you age, and your future self, you're going to be thriving. And people don't get that. I should be filled up in my schedule every day doing lab testing if people really understood that, but it's still my goal and my mission. So
Yeah.
working on it.
Exactly. It's very difficult, and it's difficult to have people stay on a routine. Something though that you mentioned is that, you know, people wait too late to start planning for their joint health or for their bone health. But the great thing about Biosil is that if you start right now taking it for your skin or taking it for your hair growth, you're still going to be getting those bone and joint and teeth benefits, even though, you know, they may be side benefits, but the primary thing you're going to be helping is your hair, nails, or whatever you're looking for. Before we close out, I do want to say to anybody who's going to start trying Biosil when they should expect results. So first of all, out of all the clinical trials that we discussed, you can read more about it on our website, biosil.beauty. And you won't see the results if you don't take the product. So please remember to take it every single day, ideally 1 in the morning, 1 at night, as Richard said. But if you're not going to remember, just do both servings 1 time a day with or without food. Once you start to take it, people usually notice results first in their nails after about 1 month. People usually see
nails,
beautiful nails. You have a great coloration. That means you're getting a great blood flow, and they're very long. So beautiful. After about 2 months, people start to see results in their hair. This can be faster growing, thicker, stronger hair. And then after about 3 months is when people see results in their skin. And this could be increase in elasticity and decrease in fine lines and wrinkles. But again, you're not going to see those results if you don't take it consistently. So just incorporate it to your routine. I personally have it on my desk right here, so I see it and remember to take it, or by your toothbrush, just something. And one last thing, I do recommend people who are first starting to take it, take before and after pictures. Take pictures of your nails, of your skin in neutral lighting like this, and then the side of the face, and do the crown of your hair. So you're looking for baby hair growth, because we see ourselves in the mirror every single day. So it's hard to notice changes. But often what I hear when people start to take Biosil is they'll get compliments from their friends, their family saying, oh my gosh, did you get Botox even? Like, what are you doing? Your skin looks so nice. And they'll say, oh, well, I just started taking Biosil. So oftentimes we don't see the changes day to day today, but if you have those progress pictures, you're able to see the results over time. So that would be my suggestion to anybody who's looking to start Biosil.
Yeah, and we have a 20% off code with Coach Debbie Potts 20, and you can go to biosil.beauty website, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We have more information on our science, and you can purchase Biosil as well there.
And Jodi, I must say you should be at the modeling for them because you're glowing, you got the big shiny teeth, you look beautiful. So you should be a poster child.
4 years of taking Biosil consistently. So I'm very happy with the results.
You look good too, Richard. Your head looks nice.
Well, Jodi just came from a plastic surgery conference, and she's been getting complimented by world famous plastic surgeons all weekend. So
this is El Natural.
I would be very proud if I was in that spot.
Thanks to
That's amazing. Good. Well, thanks so much for your time today. I know we were a little over, but I think it's so important to talk about all the science behind it and get people to understand how our skin and joints work and hair and how to make it stronger and the differences of products out there and help explain it so people can make better choices as they work on improving their aging process.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Debbie. This was great.